is the first edition of how to build fintech products using Paystack, right? So we're going to talk about Paystack. We're going to talk about how we came into being and why we're doing what we're doing. We're going to talk about API-based payment infrastructure. And we're going to talk about all the awesome businesses that currently use Paystack. And we're going to talk about, we're going to go straight into all the tools that we use to, that we have made available for you to build all these awesome products. And then we're going to, I'm going to focus completely on the questions later, but it's important to note that you can share questions on the Q&A section, and you can also, for those streaming to YouTube, you can also share questions on the chat, and there is a team on standby to answer those questions. All right, so jumping right into what is Paystack, right? Paystack helps businesses in Nigeria and Africa to collect one-time and recurring payments, both online and offline. So for context, before Paystack started, there was payment in Africa was really broken. It was fragmented in so many ways. People could not collect payments reliably. People could not. It was very hard for businesses to collect payments. Yeah. So right now, Paystack powers a lot of businesses of all types. We help them to receive both recurring payments. We help them receive one-time payments. So it's easy for businesses now to collect payments. When the first month, on the first month that Paystack launched, we only processed about $2,500 in transactions. This month, or the last month, Paystack processed a little over $70 million for businesses. And we've been growing. So this is why Paystack is relevant to the Nigerian payment space right now. We provide very, very easy integrations for people to get started with receiving payments. So what we believe, or what we are, the goal for payment, the goal for Paystack is, one, make it very easy for someone who wants to receive payments to get started. So you don't need to have like cumbersome integrations. You don't need to, it's just very simple, straightforward REST API calls to get started, and you can receive payments. Secondly, we use APIs to make it very flexible. So when someone wants to integrate Paystack into any kind of system, there are a lot of APIs that we have made available that make it very simple to get started. So you don't have to be limited in what you can do with it. Recurring payments allows you to charge cards that are when the card is not present. So after you collect the first payment, it's very easy for you to collect subsequent payments. And then we have multiple channels on one integration. So for people who do not have their cards with them, or for places where, people who prefer to use USSD or QR codes, you don't have to do multiple integrations into all those things. With one integration, all those things are made available for you. And we are connected to multiple processors. So when Paystack came in, it was very, very hard, but we decided to start doing the hard work of connecting that to multiple processors, to banks, such that there's a higher rate of transaction success. Great. So I'm going to show you guys, how Paystack has changed things in terms of the API-based payment infrastructure. So now it's very easy to start receiving payments using Paystack, because all you need to do now is one API call, right? So all the hard work that needs to be done in order for a transaction to be successful, connecting to banks, making sure that the payment is secure, making sure that the transaction goes quickly and safely, making sure that customers are protected from fraud, unlike all those things, we have handled it. And so all you need to do now is to connect to our APIs, right? And an interesting thing happened as we were going along. We noticed that after we did all those deep level infrastructure work and provided the API for people to receive payments, those APIs, those same APIs now become the foundation on which other companies are building their financial technology. So the APIs allow you the flexibility to build other products on top of it. Yeah. So like I mentioned, we provide multiple payment channels. This is what our new checkout looks like. So customers can pay with their bank, they can pay with their card, they can pay with USSD, they can pay with mobile money for those in Ghana, they can pay with Visa QR, right? So all this happen with a single integration, right? And then with charge authorization, you can charge a card. And then we're going to talk about all these things in details. We have our custom JS that allows you to design your own checkout form the way you want it. So this is our own checkout form. This is our checkout form. This is what it looks like, right? If you want to keep the theme of your own website and you want to create your own card payment experience, we also provide like a JavaScript file that is the foundation of our current library. And we allow you to build on top of it. All right, so other features we have is that it's easy to set up. And with Paystack, you can start integrating. You don't even need to talk to anybody. Once you go through the documentation and you understand it, you can just create an account and register and start doing transactions immediately. You don't need to file anything, you don't need to call anybody. And then we handle all the hard parts of payments, the security, the recurring payments. Like we handle all those hard parts and just allow you to use APIs to connect directly in order to make your own payments. Yeah. So this is what a simple a first-time integration, a first-time Paystack transaction looks like. So at the point that the user needs to pay, all you simply need to do is to initialize the transaction. So for those of you who have tried using Paystack before, it's you know how easy this is. So if you go to our documentation, you can see the documentation. So this is our inline, which is the one that pops up. This one here. This is our inline. Yes. It allows transactions. So once you click on pay, the transaction pops up and the user can complete payments. Yeah. So all you need to do is to replace the transaction amount here and replace the transaction reference here, and the user can complete the payments. You can also add custom fields to it. So you tie this function here to a button. And when the user clicks on the button, the payment comes up, and then the user pays on the checkout, and you can verify the transaction and deliver value. That is literally all that needs to happen for you to start receiving payments. It's as simple as that, right? So these are like I mentioned, our APIs have allowed other payment tools to be built, other payment industries the payment industry to grow, right? So we power businesses like Pay Later, we power lending businesses, we power savings and investment businesses, we power lottery. So what I'm saying is, on the one hand of this fintech industry are people like Paystack. It's Paystack that is building the infrastructure that allows you to move money from one place to another, from a customer, receive money from a customer, and also send money to a customer, because we also have transfers disbursement features that you can use, right? So we have lending companies like Pay Later. We have savings applications like Piggy Bank, Cowrywise. So those are completely new financial products that did not exist 2-3 years ago that currently exist now because Paystack's API allowed them to safely and securely and very easily move money, right? Great. So there are a lot of other products that are built on Paystack that we can't really tell you about. So the point here is, like, Paystack builds the fundamental infrastructure that you can use to build any payment service you want. There are entire services like entire payment services, mobile money wallets, applications that serve high finance that are built on Paystack that I can't even tell you about, right? So we power all levels of payment companies. So next, now we're going to look at the tools that allow these payments to happen. So again, I'm going to remind you that you can always ask questions in the Q&A channel, and someone is on standby to answer those questions. I can see that some questions are already coming in, and they're getting answered. But towards the end, I'm going to have time to discuss your questions and answer some of your questions live on the webinar. But please remember to use those channels. So yeah, we're going to dive deep into the tools. So very, very important. Yeah. After we run through these tools, I have a very important announcement, because the point of this seminar is to show everyone how you can use Paystack, how you can leverage Paystack tools to build your own financial service, your own financial products, yeah, your own fintech products. So by the end of the seminar, we're going to be sharing a very important announcement. So please, if you are watching this, it would be great if you can stay to the end, because we have a very, very important announcement at the end. So yes, so jumping into the in this section, I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to just run through all the tools, and I'm going to give you case studies, right? I'm going to share case studies, like what sample fintech application that you can create, and which combination of these tools you can use to make that happen. All right, great. So first is our checkout. Yes, so the checkout was built specifically to allow people who need to receive payment to do that very easily, right? The point of the checkout is to abstract all the cumbersome parts of payment processing. So the handling of the card, the making sure that the transaction is successful. The checkout allows you to have multiple payment channels in just one integration, right? So instead of you having a separate API to charge separate banks, or having separate APIs to charge mobile money or charge QR code, once you initiate a Paystack transaction, once you initiate a Paystack checkout, right, it has all these things. And we at Paystack, we optimize the checkouts for higher success rates, which means that our checkout knows how to handle errors very easily, such that when a customer is trying to pay with a card, and the card, maybe the card did not go through, we don't just say, your card didn't work. We say, try another card. Or the checkout knows how to suggest all those things to your customer so that success rate is improved. Yes, so we have put in a lot of work. We have put in incredible amount of work in making it, a seamless payment engine that allows your business to grow. Yeah, so it handles multiple payment channels. It's fully customizable, which means you can change up anything you want on the checkout. Yeah, it's smart, and so it knows how to suggest to the customer to try something else if what it's doing is not working. The idea of this is that once a customer opens our checkout, we do everything that we can to make sure that he pays successfully, you know. So we've made the payment experience across multiple devices to be very seamless. Great. So we also recognize that not everyone wants to have our checkout loading on their website. There's some people prefer to design their own sites themselves, but then they don't want to handle sensitive card information on their own servers. So we have created a JavaScript library called Paystack.js that is built completely on our own, like it's what our checkout is built on. So like the JavaScript base that is powering our checkout is now available to you, so you can design your own front end. You can have complete control over how your site looks. So if you have like a color theme, a particular color theme, say your site is all yellow, everything is all black and yellow, and you want to keep it that way, Paystack checkout, you don't want Paystack to checkout to load and then have like a different font and a different color. You can use Paystack.js to design your own checkout form. And the Paystack.js, the core JavaScript library will handle all the card details securely and, return responses to you very, very smoothly. Yes. So at some point in the future, we'll be making more announcements about this Paystack.js, and we'll make sure that all of you here are notified about it. Okay. So also the video for how to use the Paystack.js, we'll share it with you guys. We'll share it with you guys later. And this video also will be available to all of you later, so that in case you need to share with your friends too. All right, great. So this child authorization is, for me, it is the single most important payment innovation that has happened in Nigeria recently. What charge authorization does is, after a user pays you for the first time using the checkout, we return, if the transaction was successful, we return an authorization code to you that you can use to charge the user anytime in the future. So what this means is, a user only needs to pay you once. And after the payment is made, you have the API to do anything, to charge the user at any time. So this is the foundation upon which lending companies, online lending companies that I showed you in the earlier slide, this is the foundation upon which their products are built. The saving companies, Piggy Bank, this is how they charge your card when your savings schedule is due. The lending companies, this is how they charge your card when the lending is due. So for ride sharing apps like Taxify, that you just add your card, and then when you take a ride, they just charge you. This is how they charge it, right? So this, for me, is the single most important payment innovation that we've witnessed in Nigeria in recent times, because just having this charge authorization available, the card authorization means that with an API call, right, you can trigger a payment, which means that even if your application is a USSD based application, or your application is a chat based application, you can still charge the user. So when the user is registering and they link a card, whenever they trigger an action that requires payment to be made, they don't need to come and enter the card details again and enter OTP again. Like, the fact that you can make one API call and charge a user just gives you an incredible amount of possibilities, right? For those people that have been aware of this in, say, Stripe or other payment services abroad, this Paystack brought this innovation to Nigeria, and this is the reason why we're having this webinar right now, because this innovation is what is empowering us to allow you create amazing products on top of Paystack, because we know that you can make payments very easily, you can receive payments very easily, right? So again, like I mentioned, towards the end, we're going to talk about different use cases or different sample applications that you can create, and how you can use these APIs to how you can implement these APIs in the application. Great. So the card authorization is returned to you when the transaction is verified. So I mentioned in an earlier slide that to integrate Paystack, once you initialize the transaction with like this, when the payment is successful, so you send the customer's email an amount. When the payment is successful, you call our verify endpoint. The verify endpoint returns to you the code authorization. I'm going to show you that right now on our API references. So this is what it looks like. So after the payment is initialized, you take the reference that was used for the transaction and call this endpoint. This endpoint returns this authorization object that contains an authorization code. So if you can see here, there's an authorization code. This is the code that represents the card that was used to make the payments. And then this is the last 4 digits of the card. This is the bank. This is the card. This is the expiry month and date. So if you have used your card on any service that asked you to that displayed your card as say Access Bank Visa card ending with 1234, this is how you can do it. So if you're building an application that lets the user link a card so that they can select the card and complete a transaction in the future, this is how it's done, right? So when you verify the transaction, everything here is returned, and you can use that. So this is the URL. Again, this is a complete pack of all these endpoints and implementations of them that we are getting ready in a Paystack walkthrough. It's not available now, but as soon as it is, we're going to send it to everybody who registered for this webinar, so you can play around with these things and like get an immersive experience of how all these things come together. Yeah. So we return that. You can store the card authorization against the user. After the user pays, you store that card authorization and you can use it to charge him anytime. So one of my, apart from all the financial companies that are being built right now, all the financial fintech tools that are being built right now, one of my most interesting use cases for this is in-app billing for games, right? I remember a few years ago, one of my favorite Nigerian tech company then was Chop Up. They built table soccer. I don't know how many of you remember it. Remember Chop Up? Yeah. One of the problems they had, and a few other companies that were building games then, was they couldn't do in-app billing, right? This charge authorization allows you to do in-app billing, right? So once you store the card authorization, when a user needs to pay, maybe buy life in your game or buy coins or buy extra ammunition, you can make it happen like this. Yeah. All right. So moving right on. Again, because we can charge a card anytime, it allows us to build subscription-based service. So you can set up a simple subscription-based service. So if you run I don't know, a swimming class, or if you're building a paid TV, for example, if you're building any application that needs people to pay at regular intervals, Paystack subscription allows you to make that happen. So you simply create the subscription plans, and then you manage, Paystack manages subsequent charges. Paystack sends reminders to customers, and Paystack sends you push notifications when the payment is successful, right? The difference between charge authorization and subscription is that with charge authorization, you are in complete control of when you want to charge the user. So you can call the API anytime you want, right? You can call the API anytime you want. If you can, this is more suited for products where, for example, you deliver value first. So if you are a loan company and you're giving out loan and you want to get the money back, this is more suited for it. This one is more suited for pay as you use products that if the person doesn't pay, you just deny the person service. There's no need to keep trying to charge the person again. multiple times. Yeah, so great. Another innovation that Paystack brought in was another innovation that Paystack brought in was the ability to use APIs to charge direct accounts directly. We call that Pay with Bank. Yeah. So the reason we did this is because one, we always keep looking for multiple channels that users can complete payments. Like Paystack highly optimizes for transaction success, right? So we will give everything to make sure that when a user wants to pay you, he can pay you. So when a user is in a place where he doesn't have access to his card, the next best thing is actually direct account debits, right? So this is authenticated using OTP. There are other ways that we can get money out of the user's account without the card, which includes USSD and scan to pay channels, that is Visa QR. So this is great for people who don't have cards, people who are low literacy markets where they have only bank accounts. So if you're dealing with people who don't know anything about card number and CVV and expiry date and month, they can always pay with bank. Yeah, so moving on, another thing that we started seeing that it was very necessary to have was transfers. Yeah, so our transfers, the way it works is you can send money to any bank account in Nigeria. And this is very, very important because this enables a lot of use cases, right? So for me, right, between this charge authorization and transfers, you can build whatever payment product you need, right? Because essentially all payments is either receiving money or giving money, right? And with Paystack's charge authorization and transfers, you will be able to build the opportunities are endless, right? And when we get to the use cases section, I'm going to describe to you how you can put all these tools together to build your own payment tools. Yeah. So we have ways for you to manage disbursements smoothly, right? This is great for loan applications, for payroll applications, for marketplace settlement. So if you're building a service that has that you need to settle multiple users, say for example, I'm going to give you an example. If you are building a car hailing service now, for example, and you need to pay your drivers, it's great to have a tool that allows you to make API calls and you disburse the funds instantly, right? We also provide a way for you to do bulk disbursements, right? So you don't have to settle just one account at a time. So if you're managing a payroll now, for example, you can build a payroll application that pays 1,000 people at the same time with just one API call. And you don't need to queue it, or you don't need to, write any special service. You just send an array containing the transfer recipients and the amounts that they're supposed to get. And once there's money in your Paystack balance, all this goes through. This is a pointer for me to how Paystack is fundamentally thinking about making life easy for you as a developer, just making it easy for you to build, make API calls, simple 1 or 2 API calls that do really powerful things like disburse money to hundreds or thousands of bank accounts, right? Great. So another interesting feature I want to touch on is split payments. Yes, so split payment allows you to share money between multiple accounts. So I'll give you an example, right? If you were running a marketplace, or if you were collecting money for school, for example, and you need to share, someone is paying 100,000 naira, but the 100,000 naira, 50,000 is for tuition, 20,000 is for feeding, 30,000 or 10,000 is for accommodation, like that. Paystack split payments allows you to just split all those money into different bank accounts, right? At, at the moment, you can only split between 2 accounts, but by the end of this quarter, you'll be able to split into as many accounts as you want to, right? So if you're building a product that needs the payment that is received to be shared into multiple accounts on the fly, right? Paystack split payments allow that by using what we call sub accounts, right? And our dashboard allows you to see the history of all those split payments. So like our dashboard is a totally different tool that is so powerful. It helps you manage your reconciliation. It helps you see how all the transactions have gone, which ones were successful, which ones were settled, and when they were settled. Like it gives you like a very, very, very strong control over the transactions or activities that are happening on your Paystack account. So yeah, so split payments is our way of helping you manage transactions that need to be settled into multiple accounts without having to manually transfer money into all those accounts separately. And we also give you reporting for this in such a way that it makes sense how all the transactions are properly accounted for. Great. So Invoices is a simple tool that we made available on the dashboard. It's a way for you to send an invoice request to a single person, and the person would pay you, right? So we have APIs that you can use to create an invoice on the fly. So if you were, say, building, if you have a website where people need to send invoice to other people for them to pay them, this is a great way to do it, right? So Paystack also makes available a number of identity management tools. Yeah, so those identity management tools they resolve BVN. So if you are building a service that you need to know who your users are. You need people to be who they say they are. Our identity management tool is a great way to make that happen, right? So we also have a tool that matches users' BVN to their bank account. So we have a number of people who disburse funds, and they want to make sure that the person who is receiving the fund is the owner of the account. So they ask for your BVN, and then they match the BVN to the bank account, right? Again, like I mentioned, we're going to be sharing a deck, a link that you can play around with all these things by yourself. And then at the end of this slide, the very next slide, we're going to be talking about different use cases that you can use, how you can match all these tools together to come up with an amazing product. Yeah. And like I mentioned, we have a very, very, very wonderful surprise at the end of this presentation, at the end of the webinar, for those of you who are still still around. And then please also remember to keep using the Q&As feature to ask questions. I can see a number of questions have been coming in, and they've been. All right, great. So all right, so I'm going to be handing over to my colleague now. His name is Steven, and he will explain. So this next stage. Okay, so this next stage, I'm going to be explaining how different use cases. I'm going to be explaining different application ideas, product ideas that you can build. You can use Paystack tools to build. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is bill payments transfer scheduler, right? Before I go into this, please, if you have any ideas for a fintech product that you want us to discuss, or you want to know how you can use Paystack to achieve it, you want to know which Paystack tools you can use to make it happen, You can also share that on the chat, and I'll be sure to discuss that when at the end of this. Great. So someone made. All right. So before we jump into this, we're going to run. My colleague Stephen is going to answer some questions. Some of the questions that people have been asking, he's going to answer them live. So before we go into explaining this bill payment feature, Steve is going to answer some questions live on air. So I'm going to hand over to Steve right now.
Hi, hello guys. I can see the questions coming in, and thank you for really participating. Right now, I'm very sorry if I haven't gotten to your question. There are so many questions coming in at the same time, and it's very difficult answering all of them at the same time. So I want to just jump in and answer a few questions live, and then hand it over to IK so that he can continue. So I can see some questions are being repeated, so I feel it would be better if I just handle them. So for example, and sorry, if you're asking a question, try and put everything in one question, because if you spread it, I might miss the flow, because there are a lot of questions between your question and the next question. So a few people have asked questions about plugins. Do you have plugins for WordPress? Do you have plugins for Drupal and so on? Currently, Paystack has the largest repository of plugins in the Nigerian payment space. We have multiple plugins for WordPress. We have plugins for Drupal, for Joomla. We have plugins that are also built by an amazing developer community. And whatever CMS you're using, you're likely to find a plugin for Paystack before you find it for any other payments gateway in Nigeria. So now I'm going to pick a particular question. So payments via airtime balance, I've seen that question. Currently, no, we do not do payments via airtime balance, but we have payments via USSD and other methods. Airtime balance is a very tricky area due to regulations and so much more. And it's also very expensive. When you pay via airtime, the telecommunications company take a very huge percentage, more than 50%. So I'm not sure that's something that we'll be doing anytime soon. Let me look for another question. So there are also a few questions about charge authorization. So for example, this question by Alex asking about charge authorization. Can Paystack put a standing order on someone's account? No, we do not put a standing order on someone's account. At least we don't have that yet. How companies currently handle this is that when they try a charge authorization and it fails for insufficient balance, they try it again the next day. It's automatic. They just set their servers to keep trying this authorization till they eventually get the amount that they intend to get. Sub accounts. I only so I have like I'm going to just spend like the next 5 minutes answering these questions live, and at the end we're going to come back and answer as many questions as we can. So there's this question of, can I create sub accounts dynamically and specify them for each payment? Yes, Madueke, yes, you can. We have a documentation that addresses how to. So anything you can do on the dashboard, there's documentation that allows you to do it directly from your servers. So that means you can initiate transfers from your via API. You can create sub accounts via API. You can check your settlements via API. You can check your Paystack balance via API. You can check the status of your transactions, and everything you have seen, you can see on the Paystack dashboard. Is also possible to do that via the API. Let me check some much more recent questions. The BVN Match API. Somebody asked, how do I get the Paystack BVN Match API, Ademola? The BVN Match API is something we are still perfecting. So if you have visited our documentation lately, if you have visited the documentation before and seen it, if you go back now, you won't see it. We realized that there are some things we needed to fine tune. So we have just hidden it for now so that we can work on it and then make it available once again. For people who do not have context, the BVN Match API, what it does is that it checks a customer's bank verification number and then check against an account number and see if that account number belongs to the BVN. So I'm going to Valentino asks, are any legal documents required before you can start using Paystack? So I'm going to answer this and then hand it back to IK. So we have startup businesses and we have registered businesses. Startup businesses are for business ideas that you want to test and get off the ground. And you don't want to start registering this business because you do not know if it would, be a perfect fit for your market. So in such instances, we just require your BVN and like your driver's passport, just something to identify you before we allow you to accept payments through our system. For registered businesses, that's the one where we ask for your registration documents and a corporate account number and your BVN. Now we ask for this information because if there's ever any problem with somebody's money, we are also responsible for it. So we need to be able to identify whichever business that payment went through. If you need more information before we get to the next set of questions, or if I'm not answering your questions quick enough, there are two places you can go. You can go to developers.paystack.co. That's developer with an s.paystack.co, or you can go to paystack.com/help. So now I'm going to hand it over to IK. He's going to walk us through some possible use cases, fintech apps that maybe you have thought of, maybe you haven't thought of, maybe most likely nobody is doing. And then we also want you to think of other scenarios, other fintech ideas, and feel free to share. And then we're also going to give you feedback and show you how this can be built using Paystack.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Okay, guys. So yes, this is the first of the sample use cases that we were thinking about. We wanted to show you how you can get it done with Paystack. So this morning, someone just called up someone from our team and said, "Hey guys, is it possible for me to use Paystack to just automatically just pay certain bills on a certain day? It's like I know that my salary always comes in on the 27th, right? Or 24th or 25th. And I just want that as soon as my salary comes in, Paystack just automatically helps me pay certain bills. Paystack automatically helps me send money to maybe certain people, my siblings, my children, my dad, my mom, stuff like that, right? So, and that's a fantastic idea. It's like a personal financial tool that people can use to manage their life. But here's the thing, right? Paystack APIs allows you to build that as your own product. So if you had the idea to build something like this, you can actually build it using Paystack API. So I'm just going to walk you through what it would look like building that. So when the user is registering, so if you had built the app, so what the flow would look like is user comes in, they enter their first name, their last name, their all their personal details, and then the next step is to link a card, right? So where the money is going to be coming from. So in linking the card, what you do is to you tokenize the card. So the concept of tokenizing the card, how we think about it is we want to make sure that the card is valid and that the card can do transactions, right? So what we do is you do a transaction of a small amount, say 15 naira. So you come, this is where you initialize the transaction from. So you send an initialization request using here would be 15 naira, and this would be the customer's email. So when you do this, and then the Paystack sends this URL back to you. This is for the redirect, by the way. If you're using the inline, if you're using the one that pops up, this is what it's going to look like. So the user pays the 50 naira, and then the next step is to verify it. Yeah. So you verify the 50 naira, verify the transaction. So like I mentioned earlier in the when I was talking about charge authorization, I said when you verify a transaction, we return an authorization object to you, right? So this authorization object contains what you need to charge the card subsequently, right? This is what you need to charge the card. So this particular authorization code is what you use to call and make an API request to our charge authorization endpoint right here, and then you can just quickly charge the card. So you automate. So when the user wants to, when the time comes, so if it's 26 now, for example, you can just quickly use the charge authorization to make a call to Paystack to charge that user's card. So again, I'm going to recap. When the user is registering, they enter their details, they link a card, you initialize the transaction. If the transaction is successful, you verify it, and it returns the authorization object, and then you store that authorization code, the authorization object, against the user. Now, on the date that the user schedules, so the user will now have to like set on this particular day, I want to do this thing. On this particular day, I want to do this thing. On this particular day, I want to do this thing. On this particular day, I want to do this thing. And so your system would know to pick up all the actions that the user wants to perform at those certain dates. And so if he wants to pay bills at a certain date, automatically your system would take the authorization code and charge the user, and then help him pay the bills, right? So if the user wants to send money to certain recipients, you can use I told you we had verification tools that allowed you to resolve an account number. So the user enters the recipient's account number, and the recipient's selects a bank, and will return the account name to you. And then if they confirm that the bank account is correct, you use the bank account details to create a transfer recipient. And then when the user wants to send money to the person, when the time comes that the user wants to send money to the person, you can charge the user from his account and then use our transfers API to send money to the transfer recipient. So if I downloaded this app from the App Store, if you build this app, for example, if any one of you out there listening builds this app tomorrow and I downloaded it, what I'm going to do is just get the app, create my account, link a card, you call Paystack to verify and return the authorization code, and then you store that card against my account. So, and then I go into your app and I set that I want to pay my internet bills on 27th, and then I want to pay my light bills on 24th, and I want to pay my DSTV bills on this date. And once I set that, you already have contacts to your bill providers. And so once the time is due, you just call a Paystack charge authorization endpoint to charge my card, right? And then I can also add the account number of my family members or friends or people I'm owing money that I want to pay on a particular date, and you just automatically do that. So maybe a day before I'm supposed to pay certain bills, you can just send me an email reminder or an SMS reminder saying, we are going to charge you so and so and so on so and so date for this so and so payment. So like, I don't have to worry about that. I'm just swagging around the road, and your application is taking care of my bill payments automatically. And all that is possible because your app is built on Paystack, using Paystack APIs that allow you to move money around, right? So that is one use case, and that is how you can see how a combination of Paystack tools allows you to create a brand new product. Great. So the next idea that we were thinking about if someone out there wanted to build something cool using Paystack, it could be something that allows people to split bills, right? So we want to have this deal. We want to go to on a boat cruise, and the boat cruise costs 100,000 naira, and there are like 10 of us, right? 10 of us your app can have all those deals, all those the boat cruise deal you can have that on your app, and people can combine to pay for it. So instead of one person having to bear all the payments load, and everybody now having to pool money to one person, you can have a couple of people just come together and pay for it. So the way to do that would be, again, when the people are registering, they link a card, they initialize the transaction, they verify the transaction, and then we return the authorization code to you, and you store that. And then the next step is when people are queued up to pay for a particular deal or a particular bill, each one of them is charged the equivalent of what they are supposed to pay, and then you just disburse to whoever it is you need to disburse the funds to. So this is another exciting way that you can combine Paystack tools to build a financial product. So this, my personal favorites, is an automated Azure app. Yeah, so you guys know Azure, right? For those who don't know, it's like a cooperative thrift collection. There's still a lot of people that are, they do thrift collections. A lot of you, so many of you may be familiar with it. Thrift collection, people contribute money monthly or quarterly or weekly, and then they share it among themselves. So you can use Paystack to automate this, right? You can go back to your local Azure people and say, instead of you people to be bringing cash up and down, here is how you can build an automated tool for that. Yeah. So because this is a more sensitive product, you may need to verify users' identity. Yeah. So the way to do that is the user, when they are registering, they enter their BVN number, so that you know that people are who they say they are. So you're not dealing with FBI most wanted, right? So when they enter their BVN, we return first name, last name, phone number, date of birth, and then the BVN number. So how you can do a BVN verification with that is you can send an SMS, an OTP to the phone number that we returned for that BVN, and the person can now confirm that OTP. So if the person confirms the OTP, you can be sure that the person is the owner of the phone that is linked to the OTP, and so by proxy, that is linked to the BVN. So by proxy, is probably the owner of the BVN, right? So another way that this can happen is we can link. You can confirm the date of birth that was returned. So you hide the date of birth and you ask the user to confirm the date of birth on the BVN. Yes. So after the user verifies his identity, the next step is again to link card, right? And then because we need to charge for the Azure, remember we're talking about Azure collections, right? So because we need to charge the thing automatically, we need to have his card authorization. So we need him to link a card, right? And then next is that we take his account number, because at some point we're going to need to send money to him. So we take his account number, we resolve his account number, and we create a transfer recipient using his account number. So when it's time for him to pay, we use charge authorization to charge his account. When it's time to give him money, we use our transfers API to send money to him, right? So this is a very, very simple walkthrough of how you can build amazing financial products using Paystack tools. So matching this is about 1, 2, 3. Just looking at this Azure collection, there are at least 6 Paystack APIs, 7 Paystack APIs that are made available for you to just do this, right? For each one of the functionalities you need, there's an API call that makes it happen. each one of the functionalities you need, we have made an API available to make it easy for you, right? So all you just need to do is to match the right API tools together, right? So like I mentioned, we're preparing a walkthrough here that there gives you sample implementations of how Paystack can be used, how you can match all these tools together to create amazing products, right? And I'm going to make this available by next week. I'm going to share the link to this to everyone who attended this webinar. So we are going to show you how all these things work. You're going to see how all these things come together to build a mobile wallet, a gaming app, subscription TV, marketplace, how you can build a payroll service, all the tools that you need to combine together to come to get to a working product, right? Yes. So before we take questions, we have gotten to the special announcement. So congratulations to all of you that waited. Here's the special announcement. Paystack is offering, the point of this seminar is to introduce all these things to you. The point of the seminar is to introduce all these amazing tools to you, right? And we are very, very eager to see what you want to do with it, right? We're very eager to see all the amazing things that you can do with it. Already we provide an enormous amount of support for developers out there, and we are very interested in seeing you guys build amazing products and create and grow and succeed. So the FinTech challenge is this: before you, if you can create a working financial service before the 31st of August, this year, that is about a month from today, using all these APIs that we've released, if you can get a finished working product and submit it to a form that is going to be shared to you, to the attendees, and it's ready to go to market and it's ready to start accepting customers by 31st, Paystack is going to allow you to do free transactions for your first 5 million naira, which means that from the day you start up until the day you do 5 million naira, all your transactions on Paystack are free, all of it. So this is how we want to support you, how we want to get you to work with our APIs. We want to see your creativities flow. The point of like everything we are doing in Paystack is to make the tools available for you to solve payment problems for Nigerians, right? For you to create amazing products that solve everyday problems for Nigerians out there, right? So the people that have built Pay Later, they are on Paystack, are using that to solve lending problems. Piggy Bank, they are using their own to help people to save and invest. Cowrywise is helping people manage investments. Isla Credit is helping people get loans for their businesses. And then all the investment apps. The point of Paystack, all the work that we're doing in here in Paystack is to see you build amazing products on those APIs. So between now and the 31st of August, if you can create and launch a working application that is ready to be released to the public, that are built on Paystack API tools, we're going to share a link where you can submit your working applications, right? And if you can do that by 31st, Paystack is going to allow you to do all your transactions for free until you hit your first 5 million naira, right? So great. I for one, I'm very, very eager to see all the amazing things you guys can do with this product. And like I said, we are always open to support you, to help you, to work with you. So if you're interested in joining the challenge, these are our handles. This is my handle. This is Steve's handle on Twitter, and this is our Paystack handle. And this is a link to our documentation, and this is our help support email. You can reach out. You can ask any question if you run into any problem. If you need help thinking through any of these fintech, any product that you're coming up with for the fintech challenge, just reach out. Yeah. So now we're going to go back to the questions. We're going to try and answer a few questions before we end the webinar. Great. Are you sharing what? No. Okay, great. So I'm going to jump into the questions. Wow, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of you guys. Okay. Actually, I'm going to hand back to Steve to handle the questions. I'm going to try and answer some of them by text by myself. But ultimately, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. It's so wonderful to have you guys here. So see, I'm going to hand over back to Steve now, and he's going to handle the questions.
Hi guys. Okay, so thank you for sticking with us till the end. Basically, we're finished now. So I just want to take time to answer as many questions as I can along with IK. Right now, there are about 103 questions, and I've only been able to answer 48. So it's a very it's a lot of questions to handle. So before you go, if you don't have any questions and you're done, I would just like to let you know that we are going to send emails to everybody that signed up. We're going to get feedback concerning this, what you think we can improve for subsequent episodes, what you think we can do different, and what you think we should remove. We're also going to share more information about the offer that IK just spoke about, and any other information we're just going to share it within we're going to share it in that email. We're also going to share IK's code samples for the various features that Paystack has. Once again, if you have questions regarding our API, please go to developers.paystack.co. If you have other questions, another resource is also paystack.com/help. We have been recording this webinar, so we're going to be sharing the video as well. I'm not sure about the slide, if we're going to be sharing the slide, but I'm going to find out, and I will see if we can share it. We can maybe remove some sensitive parts and then share everything. And there isn't a lot of sensitive parts, so don't be worried. So I'm going to start answering from the earliest questions, and I'll be answering it live, and IK will be answering from the latest questions by text. So David Udo, 610, you asked a question that I haven't answered yet. Sorry that it took so long. So you said, can I build my own payment gateway with Paystack? Yes, you definitely can. I don't know how much in detail I should go, but yes, you can build a payment gateway with Paystack completely. You get all the features you need, and as you go on, as you start to handle a lot of customers, you also want to look at how to partner directly with some other people, with like maybe some other financial institutions, and definitely you have to get in touch with the CBN and all that. But yes, you can definitely start out with Paystack. Solomon, you ask, can Paystack accept payments from customers outside Nigeria? If yes, what regions? If you have international payments turned on, you can accept payments from anywhere in the world, as far as the person is paying with a Visa or a MasterCard. We're going to add more cards in the future. Right now, it's not priority because Visa and MasterCard accounts for a lot of cards, but in the future, we're going to be adding more cards. But yes, this is possible. There isn't any specific region. I also want to point out that for the guys streaming live on YouTube, you can ask questions in the comment section. I've been the one responding via text, so I will not respond via text anymore. I'll respond live. So Michael, you ask, can we link sub-accounts to different bank accounts? Most organizations have different accounts for several purposes. Is this possible? It depends on the level to which you want to do this, but yes, you can do this. So how to do split payments? You can do split payments in this case. So for example, let me say let me say there's an organization with 4 different branches, and these 4 different branches have different bank accounts. So you can create these bank accounts as sub accounts, and when the payment is being made, I'll go to branch 1. You put their sub account code inside that transaction. There's more info, like time will not allow me to go into a lot of details, but there's information on our documentation. So you put in the sub account code for whatever sub account, and then you can put the percentage to like 100% of the payment should go to the sub account. And when payment is done, we'll now send it to that particular sub account. When payment is done for another branch, and you put in that branch sub account code, payment should be sent to that branch's bank account. Can you point me to transaction fees for all transactions, especially transfers? Our website does not contain information about fees for transfers, but it's 15 naira flat. For transactions, please go to paystack.com/pricing. There's detailed information about our transaction charges. Do you have a plugin for Cordova Android? They have a question. They have a plugin for Cordova Android in-app billing. Yes, we have for Cordova, right? Yes, so yes, we have for Cordova. Please check out documentation. Check out documentation. Check out documentation. You'll find something for mobile SDKs. This question is late. I'm sorry, I'm just answering it. Say, if I can't wait till the end, how can I get the use cases you talked about? I guess you get the email with more information. In case you're not here, or if you're here, you get the email with more information. So there's that. So let me try and move on quickly. Still, there were 103 questions on I started, and now there are only 99 because more questions are coming in. I'm going to skip duplicate questions. If I answer a question once, I'll just skip it so as to save everybody's time. How can I transfer from my bank account with a direct debit? I'm not sure I understand this question. Olarenwaju, are you transferring from your bank account to a Paystack account? Are you a customer or are you a merchant? So it depends on the scenario. If you're a merchant, there's something we have called top up. So you can now fetch money from your Paystack account to your Paystack, from your bank account to your Paystack balance. I'm trying to build an online payment system like Paystack. My issue is, can Paystack handle payment for my merchants? Like if my merchant want to withdraw their funds, can Paystack handle that? Definitely, we have been talking about transfer, so I'll move on. Kingsley on YouTube is asking, does Paystack have API for integrating into my e-commerce site? Kingsley, we have been talking about integrations. Yes, we have plugins. We have plugins if you're using a CMS. If you're not using a CMS, you can use an API. So that's a definite yes. Taiwo. Okay, there are lots of questions on YouTube that I've missed. Somebody said that we should send out the handles again. So IK, please share your screen again, showing our handles. Persons on YouTube. All right, sorry. What's the maximum value per transaction on Paystack? We're disconnected. I'm sorry for that breaking transmission. Hello, goodness. Yes, you can get this video. We're going to send this video to everybody. So I'm seeing a lot of duplicate questions. I think I'll skip them and answer them for last so that we save time. So can Paystack expose bank accounts that a customer has after providing some customer data? No, we can't. The only people that have this information currently are banks and NIBs. So we don't have that currently. So I would just like to state that we're not going to go past 6:30. If by 6:30 you still believe that we should go, please send more answers saying that you want us to continue, and then maybe we can adjust for 10, 20, or 30 more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. We're going to have more editions. We're going to have we're going to be having live events as well. We have events for developers. We have developers coming into our office where we do a lot of seminars. We're going to be having developer events as well. If you're not in Lagos, we're going to be streaming it, and we're always going to keep you guys engaged. So don't worry, there'll always be another time. Somebody asked a question. The better example given by you guys, not as if they use Paystack for another payments in another country. They use it to charge Nigerians. Am I right? No, you're not right. They also use it in other countries. Like they're a very big company, so the way they do their payments is that they use other payments for other countries, but sometimes our international payment is way better than what they have in that country. It's better than what they have in maybe in one country. So if payments on one channel is not working, they use Paystack. So that's why I use it as an example. So let me go back. So right now I'm the only one answering questions. There'll be no questions answered via text, and we still have 98. Wow, these questions are not coming down. So guys, let's do this instead. Let's do this instead. If you have asked a question before that has not been answered, please ask it again. And I'm going to be starting from the latest questions. And I hope that I'll be able to cover as many questions as possible. So Osage, you asked if bulk transfer is possible via APIs, right? Yes, everything is available via APIs. And so any questions about APIs, if something is possible via APIs and we have talked about the feature, the answer is a yes, and I'm going to just skip over those questions to save time. So yes, it's definitely possible via APIs. Check out documentation for more information. Gabriel, enabling international transaction, can a user select which currency she wants to pay? So international payments right now just means that an international person is paying. It does not mean in our case that it's a foreign currency. If you mean foreign currency, yes. So right now we have Nigerian Naira, we have Ghanaian cedis, and we're still going to have US dollars. If your business is enabled for all three currencies, you can allow your user to choose which one to pay with. Okay. Somebody asked on YouTube, what's Paystack charge per transaction? Please go to paystack.com/pricing. Sixtus Opera, I think you're a Ghanaian merchant. I've answered your questions before. You can build anything you want to build for the Paystack challenge. It could be a web or mobile app, whatever, as far as you're releasing it for users. So we're not looking for an MVP, we're looking for a finished product. As far as you can get a product that people are willing to start using, that works, you can send it and we'll review and we'll get back to you with feedback. Temidayo, you have an Android application and you want to accept payments via Paystack, check out documentation. You see our Android SDK and you see how to implement our Android SDK. Is there a maximum volume during mass disbursement? No, there isn't a mass volume. No, there is no mass volume at the moment. Please hold on. So right now, it's going to be 7:30 Nigerian time in 8 minutes, and I'm going to stop taking questions by then. But I'm sure there are a lot of questions that you need answering. Unfortunately, I'm not sure you can get to any of those, all of those. You can always email us on hello@paystack.com, and we'll get back to you. But while I'm here, I'll still keep asking. I'll still keep answering. Emmanuel, this is a beautiful question. Basically, you're asking if Paystack is going to do integrating InterSwitch to universities using WePay, the developer gets 75 naira per transaction from the 300 flat rate. Is Paystack making on such a way to incentivize developers like this? We are considering it. I cannot provide information about this yet. But what we believe in the meantime is that if you're integrating for an institution or for a business, you negotiate with them directly and you get paid directly. And if you want to operate a model where you are getting a percentage of their transactions, you can agree that with the business and use our split payments feature. So right now we are provided the tools for you to make it happen. Your negotiation skills are what are going to make it happen. But we understand that some payment companies handle this responsibility and some don't. We are still looking at the pros and the cons, and this is still being looked into. Chibo, I'm not sure what you mean. So please email hello@paystack.com so that we can answer you better. Oh, wow. Kingsley on YouTube. Does the verification fee for card initialization get refunded? If yes, to who? Merchant or user? So there's no fee for verification. If you're doing a verification, that money, you are the one accepting it. So you can either refund it to the customer, you can add it to the customer's wallet if you are operating a wallet system. Let me say you have like a Taxify kind of app. You can add it to the person's next ride. So it's up to you. It's how you want to treat your user's experience. It's totally up to you. The money does not come to us. It's your money or it's your customer's money. Somebody asks, how does Paystack work for mobile money? I'm not sure what that means, but basically, if you're trying to check out, you put in your mobile money number, you get a prompt on your device. I'm not sure if this was answering the question, but this is the answer that I can think of for your question. You get a prompt from your device, and if you authorize the prompt, the payment is successful. Henry, I don't know what you mean manually. Okay, yes, you can achieve it manually. Sure. If you can use it, you can do it using cron jobs, you can definitely do it manually. So you can do charge authorization by calling an endpoint directly. Solomon, can electricity bill be paid via Paystack? Sure. We have Ikeja Electric, we have Buy Power, we have Abu Electric Distribution Company. We have so many electricity companies. So definitely. Steven, you can't do transfers from sub accounts at the moment. Felix, I'm not sure about your question. I think I saw it before, but because I didn't understand what you meant, I just skipped over it. So please try and put it in a more descriptive way. I'm not sure I'll have the time to get to it, so you can just email us as well at hello@paystack.com so that we get more context. Daniel, you're asking if we are going to have a coding session in this episode. No, Daniel, this episode is over. We're just trying to do questions and answers before we move on because we haven't been able to answer a lot of questions. So yes. Yes, and we're going to share a link later with the code samples that Ike did for this project. So yes. Or Dinaka, I'm not sure. What are the requirements to set up integrated Paystack solution? Please go to paystack.com/help. You see the requirements to set up or to activate a Paystack account. For the second question, please check our documentation. How do we use Paystack API for mobile money? How do you use Paystack API for mobile money? So like I said, we're still testing in Ghana. So we haven't released the documentation for you to do via the API, but we're going to release it as soon as Ghana is in public instead of beta right now. Somebody asked a question about Paystack Laravel API. I've not seen. I think it's this one. The Laravel API is the Laravel. I think you mean the Laravel library. The Laravel library is one of our community libraries by Unicode developer. Big shout out to him. I have to find out if it has been updated. But then again, pull requests are always welcome. If there's a feature you see that is not there, you can make a pull request, or you can open an issue asking for that to be included. Resolve BVN costs 10 naira per call. We give 10 free calls every month, so there's that. But after those 10 free calls, we charge you 10 naira for every call you make to the BVN endpoint. So just not to I can see people saying thank you and so on. Thank you for showing love, but if you put it here, it's going to increase the questions and I may miss other people's questions. Top bank agnostic USSD platform, is that available? It's going to be available very soon. We started with 737 because of its popularity and how for some other reasons, but we're going to have for all other banks very, very soon. It's actually almost in production. That's a project that IKEA has been working on, and it's be available soon. So cryptocurrency, Chinedu and other people have asked about cryptocurrency. We are actually, I don't know, we haven't started testing cryptocurrency, and we need permission from our regulators. So when we have information about that, we'll definitely let you know whether we're going to start dealing with cryptocurrency. But if we have that, definitely it will be possible via the API. Okay, I've seen many of the questions I've answered. Is there a way? I wish there was a way to turn off questions so I can focus on the questions that have already been asked. That have been asked a long time ago. Okay, guys, it's 7:30 and we have to get going now. I'm glad that there are so many questions, and I'm very, very sorry that we cannot get to every single question. I can see if you have questions, feel free to tweet at Paystack, DM at Paystack support, or email hello@paystack.com, and we'll get back to you with a response. Okay, I can see that lots of questions are still coming in. So I'm going to just close this and answer like a very, very, some very, very few questions. I see some people are really asking that we answer questions, but we have to get going. Somebody asked if a payment is fraudulent. If I suspect payment is fraudulent, can I cancel and reverse the payment? So if you think if your payment is fraudulent, you can contact us. Just send us an email from your dashboard. You can there's a chat feature, or there's a feature that allows you to send emails. Just send us that email, and we'll look into the payment. And if we think it's fraudulent, we can reverse it back to the card that the payment came through. So okay, people. So we've reached the end of this. Remember, tweet at Paystack or at Paystack support, or email hello@paystack.com, and we'll get back to you with a response. Paystack JS is currently the documentation is out there, but we're still working on it to perfect it. And we are going to provide a much more robust documentation as soon as we do that. If you want to hire a developer, and also I almost forgot this part. We have a developer community on Slack, where you can ask questions from the community and get replies. And the link is go to slack.paystack.com. Slack is spelled SLACK. Slack.paystack.com. You can join. You can check the dev channel or the Paystack integrations channel and also ask questions where other people from the community can answer as well. And also, if people ask questions, feel free to jump in, answer their questions. If you are not a developer and you're looking for developers, we have a channel called Freelance Jobs. You can find a freelancer to help you. And we also make most of our announcements to the Slack channel first before we put it out in the real world. So please, I think everybody would find value in joining that particular Slack channel. So once again, it's slack.paystack.com. I'm Steven. Amaza, IK is the person that's been taking you through all this. And thank you everyone for staying with us.